What's up, guys? Welcome to Chasing Pelagics. I'm Jeff, and this is your SoCal fishing forecast for Thursday, July 13th. Quick look at our 5-day, or I guess 10-day weather window here. We still have a little bit this morning cloud cover. It's been burning off pretty much every day, between 9 and 10 o'clock for the most part. We've got a really hot weekend coming up here with not a lot of wind on the inner waters, so I am expecting the water temps to finally get a jump here. We just got to really work on this brief morning fog to get out of here as quickly as possible. I did finally see a June bug. Now that we're halfway in through July already, so let's call it we're a month and a half behind schedule here. But fishing's good, and not much to complain about. Wind-wise, drop a pin here. So wind-wise, over the next several days, we still have a little bit of this northwest flow. It's going to pick up a little bit Friday into Saturday, and it's going to drive a little bit of a wind swell on the outside. But I think most people are going to miss this because not that many people are really going to be traveling west, and most of it is going to be blocked by the Channel Islands. So again, 15, 16 knots. Keep an eye on the marine forecast, but right now it's not showing anything more than wind waves above 2 feet. And there is a little bit of a mixed swell here also that we're going to talk about. But coming into Sunday, a little bit of an eddy condition and things lighten up again. And Monday, pretty much the same thing as well. So overall, very, very fishable. Might be a little bit bumpy for the private boat guys on Friday, Saturday. But the marine forecast here is not calling for anything crazy. It looks like it's mixed 2 to 3 feet at 6 seconds. Friday evening, it's going to be the bump, and it'll probably linger into Saturday. So that's going to be your biggest worry as of right now. More of an annoyance thing than anything, but definitely it's fishable. All of the sport boats, I don't see a reason why they're not out there running. So let's talk about them water temps. Before we dive into the SoCal, I wanted to mention that we are starting to cover some NorCal stuff since we did have a really nice bluefin bite out of San Francisco. Unfortunately, these charts here suck, and we're gonna have to deal with it for now. But the amount of fish that's been up here has been really impressive, and unfortunately, the wind is blowing really bad right now. But once that dies off, we'll be back checking the stuff up here. But we do have a report from last week up on the site. Nothing's really changed because it's been blowing 25 plus out there. So people have been avoiding it, as they should. But we do have that available to you guys if you're up in the Bay Area and want to know what's going on. We're trying to gather and source more information from the guys that are out there fishing it. Not a whole lot of sport boats out that way. So it's really be coming from private boaters, and if you got a report, make sure you send it to us on our website or at reports@chasingpelagics.com, and we'll happy to include it. All right, let's talk about these water temps. Our orange color here is 68, and this is on the 3-day chart. And as you can tell, that wind has kind of knocked this stuff down out here on the outside down to like 64-ish. It's not too bad. And then as we get towards the Channel Islands, it's definitely cold water's being pushed down from that wind as well. And then let's take a look at our chloro chart. The 3-day, although it looks incomplete, it actually is almost identical to the 8-day. So we can rely on that. But down south, we have this nice hard line of green water. And then we got a couple bumps here out at the 9. And then this one here looks like it was a little bit more solid on the 3-day chart. So expect this one to be there as well. And then as you head west, all this junk over here. But we're not going to bother with that because that wind's going to be blowing a little bit. So Channel Islands, you can see what's going on there too. So all in all, we got pretty good summertime conditions as far as watercolor. Nothing to be concerned about. But let's talk about some of the fishing. Channel Islands is pretty much slowed down for that sea bass. There was one day of pretty good scores. Was it Monday? I think Monday. The gentleman got it pretty good, or the gray light. I forget which one it was. They watched them really good. I gotta have squid for the most part. Some guys are being able to see a couple on the surface and casting at these white sea bass and grabbing a couple, but the volume is way, way, way down compared to what we saw in April. Not a whole lot of yellows around at the moment, but give it some time. Maybe when this water warms up again and some of the stuff starts swimming north, that we'll see a little bit more shine of yellows up there. SBI, I have not heard anything at SBI recently. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw an occasional sea bass there as well. But again, we're getting towards the end here. So not expecting much from there. Sand Nick, not getting a whole lot of looks with the amount of wind that's going on. There's been some yellows around on the Sandspit area, but honestly, not worth chasing. There's a lot more stuff that's closer to home. I'd scratch that one off my list for now. Catalina, we got a nice little run of yellowtail the past few days. It's been biting, a little finicky. They are around, specifically at the east end, is where you're going to be looking for these things. Also, sporadic sea bass have been caught in the shallows, not in the deep, but in that shallow, dirty water on the beach. So there's another chance here at a sea bass bluefin combo day. That'd be pretty sick if you ask me, but that is a possibility right now. And then if throw a yellow in there, and you almost got a California Grand Slam at this point. And then San Clemente, pretty much same story as last week. It's been biting fairly decent. Lower half of the front side, Pyramid Cove, China Point. There's hills sporadically around. Current, gotta have the current, which is that medium, like 1 knot speed, 2 knots too fast. So if there's a wake coming off Persane Rock, probably wouldn't want to fish there. A little too much current, but water clarity looks pretty good. So I think you had a good chance here. Some guys have been scoring some pretty nice sized fish. Coming flatline sardine and also on the yo-yo. No squid needed for now. So things are looking good at the island. Starting to do its normal thing. Just its spring thing is happening in July, but it is what it is. What else we got? Coronados finally got a sign of yellowtail this week. South Island has seen a pretty good sign of yellows around. I would still start on the weather side of the North Island and work my way down, but good sign of yellows. There's a little bit of barracuda mixed in there too, so cast an iron or flatline baits is going to work for you as well. Drag some Rappels around or some DTX minnows in macro color, and that's another good way you can find these fish as well. So finally, Coronado's starting to do their thing as well, which is a really good sign. Let's talk offshore. Man, we're going to switch to bottom detail here. And we're going to look at the bottom here, this basin, 499 to the north tip of San Clemente Island and coming down the slide. This is the exact same pattern that we saw last year, and it's repeating just a little bit further behind. But overall, it's looking extremely good. Daytime fishing has been significantly better. Nighttime has slowed down the last few days. I wouldn't count it out, but definitely you're going to find a good sign of fish in this area. Majority of the bigger fish are in this area, so we're looking at this basin area right here and kind of following the edges. There's fish here in the middle too. There's essentially like a huge volume of fish here, so pretty hard to miss them, honestly. If for some reason this gets too crowded, I highly encourage you to switch to this side of this escarpment. Seen this just like last year, a shit ton of boats over here, and everyone's fishing it, running each other over, trolling Mad Max and spurted bars and kites, and people getting angry at each other. And then you come on this side, and there's foamers everywhere. Not one boat in sight. So just a heads up if this turns into a total donkey show. Bring a little bit extra gas. Check this side. You'll probably find the same thing, and you'll have it all to yourself as well. But yeah, fish from 40 to 200. Daytime kite, spreader bars, Mad Max. I haven't heard too much about the sinker rig, but I mean, most of the stuff's been up on top, so you probably won't need it. The foamers have been really good. I saw Wes from Bite had already had limits and was sitting next to a foamer 10 feet off of it, and they didn't even shake them. So definitely be throwing some poppers. We got plenty of poppers in stock this year. Now that the foam's starting to show, it will be a good use of those as well. Uh, Coming down further south, there has been some fish down here at the 289. They usually pile up in this area. It's been a little bit of the smaller grade, like the 20 to 60. I know that's not terrible stuff, but some guys only want to target the big stuff. And some of the smaller grade, it's a little easier to catch during the daytime than the big stuff. Sometimes you see a lot more of this foamer stuff. If you get on it, yeah, you get a lot of numbers a lot quicker than the onesie twosie kite fish or Mad Mac fish. I will include Orange County. We've seen we've seen some fish up close here the last few days. I didn't think they'd even come in this close, honestly. The way that these water temps are hanging out, but there's been some smaller grade fish seen at the 14 today. We've seen them like 7 or 8 miles out of the harbor, blew the 267 down here. So expect them to basically be lined up from, we'll call it 14-mile bank down to, I said the North 9, 178. And you start get this pile up of bait on this edge here, that same chlorophyll edge that we're talking about, if it would show up here. The same thing right here. So this edge is what you want to be chasing when it comes to looking for those fish. Like I said, not a huge volume, but if you're in a skiff and you're looking to stay close to home, this is stuff I'd be chasing. I'd probably drag some lures, throw some poppers at them. If you're in a skiff, we got a lot better chance of getting closer to them than a sport boat. But yeah, some really fun fishing close to home instead of running, 65 miles west, something like that. Save your gas, that's for sure. Coming down south, let me switch back here again to my bottom detail. There was a swordfish caught today. That's the first one I've seen for this year, I think. First one. In one of the usual spots. I'm sure there's more around, but good sign. It was a proper one, I'll tell you that. No baby, that's for sure. But moving down south, we're gonna start seeing more of this stuff. Start seeing mixed bluefin and yellowfin with these water temps. That's 68 to 72. You usually get a lot of mix of the two in here. And also, if you're into some kelp patties, might be some yellows on it. Then I'll turn it to a yellowfin takeover, or sometimes there'll be some Dorado on it too. So just be aware of some of this kelp patty stuff. You got the yellows hanging up, 50 feet below the patty, and then there'll be a pile of yellowfin 100 to 150 feet below that. So you get one go and you get a fish or two around the boat, and then all of a sudden it'll be a yellowfin takeover. So some of that stuff, even if you see some yellows on it, fish it, let them go, and then if they're the small ones, and then maybe it'll turn on for you into something else. So always a good way to look at that stuff. Moving west here, we're going to work this line again. There hasn't been a lot of fish, unfortunately, the last couple of days, 371, 302. I know they've been out here hunting for them, but just hasn't been a lot of volume. Unfortunately, like the last couple of days, some of them are kind of heading west up here towards the 43 and the 289. Some are coming up here towards the 182 and working this edge. So you basically got to pick an edge for the moment and try and work with it. But you're in the bluefin, yellowfin, kelp patty stuff. Anywhere along here, we're getting to the season where I don't want to draw a circle around the whole map here, but there's really fish everywhere. But I'm trying to point out where there's the most volume. We got a little bit better chance of scoring. Coming below here, I don't know if anybody that's running to the upper hidden or the lower hidden or the upper 500, I don't see a reason to come this far. The guys from Ensenada are still catching mixed bluefin and yellowfin anywhere from the lower finger to the upper finger. So I would expect much of the same in this area if you head west, but I mean, the water temps look good, but again, I don't really see a reason to come this far. Stick to this edge here, from the upper finger to the lower finger, and that's where I'd hang out. But that's pretty much it for this week, guys. Yeah, have a sick weekend on the water and enjoy yourselves. I'll be on land this weekend, but next weekend we're gonna hit it hard out there on the water. So have a great week, guys. Be safe out there. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our website and online store at chasingpelagics.com. And make sure you share the stoke.